All right, on number 4, it says that the mean for a set of 30 scores is 65. So when 30 scores were average, the average was 65 is what that means. Suppose 2 more students take the test and the score are 95 and 100. What is the new mean? What is the new average? When we have 2 additional students, making 32 students now take the test and they score a 95 and 100. So when you're thinking about this, an average of 30 students scored to 65. And so 30 scores were added together, they were divided by 30, and the average equaled 65. So what we can draw from that is we can figure out what those 30 scores added up to. Because what we have is, we had score plus score plus score plus, score plus score. We had 30 scores. Then it was divided by 30, and the average we know was 65. Well, the opposite of dividing those scores by 30 is to multiply by 30. And when we multiply by 30, what that's going to tell me is that those 30 scores, they totaled up to 1,950 points, basically. What we want to do now is to that, we're going to add the score of a 95 and a 100 to that. And when we add those scores, then we will divide by 32 because now there would be 32 students taking the test. So we'll take the 1950, which is the total that the 30 scores added up to, add in the 95, add in the 100, total that out, divide by 32, and what that's going to do is that's now going to give me a new average of approximately 67 and 3/100. So that's a really good problem. Something, when you come back and study that you'll want to pay close attention to. Now we're going to kind of advance this up a little bit, and I really like this problem because I get emails all the time of, how is my grade calculated? What do I need to make on this test to make my grade this, that, or the other? And so this is a really good problem to kind of talk about how that's done. So it says Miss Lacey counts the homework as 10% of the final grade, the group teaching presentation as 10% of the grade, the activity quiz average as 10% of the grade, the exam average of the remainder of the grade. If you made a 92 on the group teaching project presentation, had a 94 homework average, had an 87 activity quiz average, a 72 on exam 1, 85 on exam 2, 80 on exam 3, 91 on exam 4, and 68 on the final exam, what would your numerical grade be for the class? So we have to count in these percentages, there's different averages. So it really is a bit more of a technical problem, but not by any means harder than what we've already been doing. So homework is 10%, the group teaching presentation is 10%, the activity quiz average is 10%, and the exam average is the remainder of the grade. So you have to kind of think about, of your percentages, we have 10, 10, and 10% accounted for. So the remainder of the grade, the exam average would be the remaining 70%. And that is the exam average. And that's something that we don't know. We have the exam grades, but we don't know the exam average. And so that's the first thing that we're going to calculate is the exam average. So they had a 72 on exam 1. We had an 85 on exam 2. We had an 80 on exam 3, a 91 on exam 4, and then a 68 on the final. So we need an exam average. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exams. So we're going to add those 5 exams and divide by 5. And so, you can use a calculator if necessary. You need to total up the top, add 72, 85, 80, 91, and 68. Then we'll divide that by 5 exam grades, which gives me an exam average of 79 and 2/10. Okay, so now we're going to bring in